Hey guys, my name is Paul. I'm from BandStrap and I just came back from a trip in Tokyo, Japan. I went to Japan to see what the hype is about because everybody's talking about it and everybody's been. I heard the food is amazing. There's a lot to do there and a lot of culture. I always thought that Japanese people are extremely smart, well-mannered, and they have a reputation of doing things properly and very well, doing things in an organized fashion. So I was thinking maybe I could go to see how they live and to see if I can learn from them some of the ways that they live life into my own life, as well as of course taking a break from work just back at home in Toronto. And for those reasons, it was super worth it to go and visit the country. I didn't get a chance to check out Osaka or Kyoto, nor Okinawa or Hokkaido. I know there's other places too, but I think those are the top other destinations that I've heard other than Tokyo. And people actually recommend Kyoto and Osaka over Tokyo because it's too city-like and it's all the same all around the city. It's super busy, super packed, and arguably less culture around, less shrines and other origins and history. But I didn't really know any better, and Tokyo's better than not going at all. So I don't really know why I chose Tokyo, but I assume there was the most around and most to do there. I didn't plan anything, so I just kind of went for it, and I guess that was the most top of mind in terms of brand name of a city. So I just went for Tokyo because that's the main city, and it didn't disappoint. I really enjoyed going. So I wanted to walk you through my experience traveling, and I wanted to see if another big reason I wanted to go and travel was to see if the BandStrap actually helped my experience and if it was truly impactful and if it was worth it for a typical customer to buy that from our store. Because there is one doubt that a potential customer might have. Is it worth spending $35 for a little strap when I could just, have it on my bag? And yeah, I wanted to just walk you through a typical real world experience of a customer having the BandStrap and maybe not having the BandStrap. I have actually many pros and cons. I'm not gonna hide anything, even though I am from BandStrap. I'm gonna talk about all the details with that. The good news is, in terms of BandStrap's perspective, I think it was a game changer. It really was. And without it, the traveling experience would not be the same, and it would be super inconvenient and super hot. I was always carrying things, and the BandStrap really, really helped. So let's get into it. Hopefully this video is organized, but we'll see how it goes. Any questions about it, let us know below, but I'm just gonna go for it. So I'll try and have a lot of clips that I've saved while I was traveling there, all the way from the airport in Toronto all the way to the airport in Tokyo and beyond, of course. But yeah, there's one thing that I liked about having this BandStrap is I never had to worry about my jacket falling off, and this is a big problem that I actually encountered later in the trip. And before I forget to mention, what we will recommend is to use the mini band to make sure it's extremely tight on the jacket as well as the main band, so that you make sure that it never falls off. And there's a lot of walking to do, even in the airport and every day in Tokyo or other cities in Japan. There's just going to be a lot of walking. You're going to be in and out of subway stations where, by the way, it's really hot inside. And then when the weather is kind of sporadic and it's raining and super chilly at night especially, you want to have access to your jacket. And then when you go inside a facility, when you're shopping or you're at a restaurant, you're surprisingly doing a lot of taking on and off your jacket and your bag and everything you're carrying every day. And your backpack isn't necessarily enough to put the jacket inside, especially if you have some things to carry while you're on the go. An important fact that you need to keep in mind if you do go to Japan is that you can't throw anything out. There's hardly any trash cans, garbage cans, even recycling bins. The only things that are available are the cup recycling bins. So you can't recycle anything, and it's not a trash can. I believe there's a lot of fines and penalties if you try to throw out trash in the cup recycling bin. It only accepts cups, and you got to put it in bottles as well, I believe. But other than that, there are no trash bins anywhere, so you got to carry everything. If you go to a convenience store, that's the only place where you can throw out some things. But usually you get, for example, a coffee cup or a drink or water or snacks, and you're gonna eat it on on the go. And then after you're finished eating or drinking what you bought, you have to carry it with you in the bag. So that's one thing that actually helps as well. Having this band strap, you can have extra bags that you can clip on the holes of it so that you can carry more things beyond just your backpack. And sometimes there were days, multiple days actually, where I didn't want to carry my entire backpack because in the subways as well, it gets really crammed and my bag really sticks out in the back and it occasionally hits people in the subway. It's not convenient because it gets really crammed in there sometimes. So having just a band and then a smaller or mini bag attached on it, that was enough sometimes and much better because it was a lighter load. When you're out and about from like 8 or 9 a.m. to do as much exploring and traveling as you want until 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or even later sometimes in the night, you want to carry as least as possible. And I really believe that the band strap helped the travel experience by making things very light for me. And long story short, I had a jacket on. I think I put my jacket on and then took it off and put it on the band strap about on average 20, 30, 40, maybe I don't know about 50 times, but it was definitely more than 10 times every single day. Because when I went, which was mid-March to the end of March, the weather, it wasn't really great. It wasn't sunny all the time. It was only sunny for the first few days, and then in between it's been sometimes raining, but for the most part it's been super cold. So I needed my jacket and a sweater, and I walked around like that, and that was enough. But when I went down in the subway cars, it was extremely hot to the point where I sit down and I have my jacket on, and within 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, I don't know if it's just me, but I started burning up and I was about to sweat profusely if I kept my jacket on for another 10 seconds. It was really nice because I always knew my band strap was on me at all times. I took my jacket off, put it on the band, and then strapped it with the mini band, and that took about 10-20 seconds every single time, and it was noticeably less hot. On average, I was much cooler, and even then I could argue I wasn't cool enough, but it was kind of perfect. And I like that I didn't have to put it in my backpack because my backpack would stick out like a sore thumb just behind me, like hitting people in the subway. Or when I'm walking around with the backpack, it's like more weight that's kind of sticking outward, and it wasn't really ideal when I was walking a lot. Whereas my band strap, because it's on kind of the lower end of my body, it was weighted downwards and it was more slimmer in profile in relation to my body when I'm walking around, or if there's a lot of people around me, it wasn't really a problem. What also made it a game changer was that it was long enough that it went below my jacket. So I could just put my jacket on over the band, and then when it gets too hot, let's say at a restaurant or in general, I just want to take it off. I take it off and then I put it on the band strap, and I don't have to take off my band strap because it's short and I have to always worry about it having to be on the outermost layer above my jacket. So that would be really annoying because I did that so many times, taking my jacket off, putting it back on. So if I also had to take my bag off and then my jacket, and then put my bag on and then put my jacket on and then the mini band, it's just so many more steps if you add it up in terms of how many times you need to use it. So it was really nice to have a long strap that allows for one less step, and it just made things a lot more convenient, and it made me want to use it much more often. So I want to give you a real world perspective on a user of it. So it's not going to sound that great, but I'm just going to be upfront. So the bag that we sell, it works modularly with the main band strap that we sell. And we have a video actually explaining how you can make it stronger so that it works modular with the bag and the band strap together in a way that it will last much longer and it's more durable. And keep in mind, this is the first iteration of the bag, which for simplicity, we'd recommend buying the bag and using it separately, and then having the band strap as well for your jacket or your groceries and keep it for that use. But modularly, it does work, but you do need to add another step on how to make it stronger, to make it last long. We'll link the video in the description. But long story short, based on the last video that we made about a month ago or two, we don't recommend that. So just don't use that way to the back of the crossbody bag. There's a new way that we'll create a video on that you can use it for this first iteration if you did want to use it in a modular fashion. But basically, based on the first video that we made, I tried it that way and it actually ripped the one side of the bag. I'm not sure if you can see here, but it's almost kind of off now. It's been kind of ripping. Yeah, that way doesn't work, so we don't recommend that. What I actually did instead before that, and it was working for a long time. The point of this is to have it all stronger, so it's on the left and right sides that it's built with, and it's supposed to work with this, but this itself, first model that we have, it's not strong enough, and this might happen, something like this. So if you do buy one of our bags and you want to use it modularly, you should not do this. This is like what I did for now because this is ripped, but you should loop it. So you loop it around the main band, which goes through here about 7 times or 8 times, strengthens it, and then you have more supporting force on the left and right sides of the bag, as well as the main part with these 2 straps here. But we are going to have a second version with reinforced like outer of the entire bag, as well as double stitching with a bigger single piece flap that should be coming in the next like few months. So until then though, we have these bags that you should just use regularly with the strap that it comes with. And then if you want to carry your jacket and other groceries or other bags or trash bags, if you're traveling, you can use this and not worry about the bag getting damaged or anything. And if you have a crossbody bag already, if you already have a bag that you like to use for yourself right now, then you don't even have to worry about this. And then this is an extra thing you can use just for that purpose. And speaking of more bad news, before we get to other better news or just general news, I didn't really fasten the band that it came with that well. So this is the strap that I used. I've tightened it since then, but it was a little too loose. It was like decent tightness enough to keep the jacket on, but it wasn't strong enough. And my jacket wasn't properly evenly kind of folded on the main band as well. So I think those two are the 2 biggest reasons why it fell. Luckily, the jacket fell off very close to the place I was staying at. It was about maybe a 10-second walk, and I later was looking everywhere for my jacket because it meant a lot to me. And at the end of the day, hours later, I actually found it right where I left it, and I was shocked that, you know, nobody threw it out, took it for themselves. But you know, Japan is known for that kind of thing where nobody takes anybody's stuff. They're very respectful. I noticed that firsthand. It was just on the side of the street with the band and the jacket just laying there. Nobody took it. I was so happy that I found it, and it was a lesson learned as well to, you know, make it tighter to the point where the jacket kind of, if the jacket's like this silhouette, then make it tighter so that the top and bottom of it are sticking out like this way, and then the strap is really getting it. And you should try to go as high as possible, or at least in the middle, not on the end of the jacket, so as close to the main band as possible over the part where you folded it, so it has less likelihood of it falling all the way down. So make it super tight. Make sure please to do that, and you won't worry about your jacket falling off. That was the only time that it did fall off, and that was only kind of at the end when I've used it many times. But yeah, in terms of what I needed to carry, I mainly brought my crossbody bag everywhere I went, and whenever I needed my bag, I did bring that. That was about 20% of the time, maybe, or give or take 20%. This was 100% of the time. It was perfect for the things that I needed: sunglasses, passport, my wallet. And when you're in the subway system in Tokyo, you're always going in and out, and there are tons of people in front of you and behind you. And you want to make sure you get access to your wallet to tap on and off every station where you're getting on and off at. So it was really nice to have this bag that fits everything that I need. It wasn't too heavy to weigh me down throughout the day, and I could access it right then and there, and then not delay anybody behind me, because every single second, encountering someone behind you. So if you can't access your wallet and you can't tap off in the subway, for example, then I almost felt like I would just be in the way of somebody and they just run into me. That was the extent on how many people there were walking around. So it was extremely hectic, and I needed very, very easy access right away at all times. But yeah, some general facts about Japan that I just noticed are that when you're going into restaurants, by the way, you have to wait about 30 minutes to an hour for the popular restaurants. Maybe in general too, if they're decently well known, you have to wait in line. But the good news is that when you're inside, you can put whatever belongings in a small little bin in front of you. Whether it is just right under the table, there's like a little slot where you can put your bag, and it fits a crossbody bag. I'm not sure if it'll fit a real large bag, so if you have a bag like mine, then you can easily fit it inside. But sometimes for larger restaurants with more space, they have a little bin that you can put your bag and your umbrella if you need it, and your crossbody bag or smaller fanny pack inside. So they really know how to conserve space, because I believe they have to. There are just so many people around, and it was really nice. The food was amazing. It was very cheap, about maybe $10, $15, $20 a meal. So on average about 15, 20 Canadian dollars, and it was really bomb ramen that I can't even find in Toronto. The broth was amazing. I think I went to the same ramen shop about 4 times. There was one that didn't have a line, and it was underrated. It was amazing in terms of the flavor, and it had so much in it, very close to my place as well. So it was nice to grab that meal, go for a short stroll back home, and it was a nice way to wind down from all the busyness happening in like Shibuya, like the party area of Tokyo. I also went to the Disneyland, and there was so much waiting. I think that might be the last time I go to an amusement park. There were lines and lines and lines. There was one time we actually waited 2 hours for a ride at the end of the night, and right when we could see the rides, it actually got canceled. Some technical failure, I believe mechanically. I couldn't really understand what they were saying. My friend kind of briefly heard a summary of what that might be. But yeah, we waited that long for no ride. But other than that, it was okay. It was raining a little bit. It was a bit cold as well. I don't think I'd go back, but it was nice to do something cool while I was in Japan. But it really does get tiring to carry even just this crossbody bag all day. So what I did was, I'll try to explain, but I actually, instead of having the bag on the right side, which I normally do, sometimes I actually moved it to the left side so that I can, put less weight on the other side to distribute it throughout the day. But sometimes when we were waiting in line, what I actually did was I put it over my neck like this, and the bag was behind me. I kind of grabbed the band and then I pushed it down like this, and then I kind of let my hands kind of rest on the band, and it was only possible to do this because the band strap is that long. A normal crossbody bag isn't long enough to do that. So when my weight of my arms and my hands was on the band strap and the bag was kind of like behind me here, it was distributing it. It was kind of like a backpack, and that was essentially what it was doing. And the weight is still on my shoulders, that's from the bag, but it was more distributed, definitely in terms of the left and right sides of me, but also my arms could be, resting, and I don't have to use any force there. But yeah, that made it really nice to not have to feel tired from all that waiting, all that walking around all day. But yeah, I really like the design of the bag in terms of how we made it. All the, cash for my use was in the front pocket when I needed something to like pay right away, because things was in general very hectic. If I couldn't access what I needed, and if it wasn't intuitive enough when I'm paying at a restaurant or at a convenience store, it would really be kind of stressful. So it was nice to know that all my cash and my coins was in the front pocket, and then everything that I needed in terms of more important things that I don't need as much, I kind of put it in the main pocket here, as shown here. And I put my wallet with the subway pass on the very top of my bag because it's a larger wallet, kind of like this size. I put it on the top so I can just grab it and then tap on and off very easily. I also had a portable charger with a cable inside the main pocket as well. So everything I needed, it was always there. I never ran out of battery and I had everything I needed. And the bag actually had a little more space than I needed just in case I end up buying something at a convenience store or something throughout the day. So that was nice. It wasn't just exactly what I needed at all times, but the bag isn't super big where it makes you want to get a bunch of things that you want to put them all in it, and it weighs you down and tires you out throughout the day. So that was nice. The size is kind of perfect in my opinion. But yeah, overall it was cool. I went to Endoshima. I also went to Akihabara, checked out the Yodoboshi camera, the very large complex where you can buy almost everything. The Don Quijote I've been as well in other areas. I met some friends at a bar meetup from meetup.com. Went to a bar. We skipped the club because I'm not really a club guy. Made some friends at the bar. A drink that was about a 68% alcohol. It didn't really get me that drunk. I did feel it a little bit at the end, but it was nice overall. It was an experience. It didn't taste amazing. It tasted like licorice, but yeah, the drink could have been worse, but it wasn't too bad. I also went to Hakone and I went on the trip across the lake there with the pirate ship, and I checked out the shrine there and the red gate for the shrine that's along the lake, and checked out the open air museum there as well. There's a lot of cool artifacts. I only had about 30 minutes to go and visit and check it out, and I was planning to go to an onsen, but there was a lot of traffic in the hills. I'm not really sure what happened, but it was delaying my trip, especially because I needed to get back on the train back to Tokyo because it was only a day trip by about 7 p.m. So I really needed to get back, and the onsen would have been at least an hour, maybe 2. And there was a lot of checking reviews to see how long the wait really is, because there was also a wait to get into that onsen that I was looking at. So I just decided to get back home, and a day like that, when you're outside for about 11-12 hours, it can really be tiring. I really wanted that onsen that night. And I didn't even get to go to one in Tokyo. There was a bunch there too, but maybe another time. I checked out the Gundam statue in Odaiba, and I also checked out the moving Gundam in Yokohama. Some random things I've done was visit the Noodle Cup Museum, explaining about the history of how cup noodles were made. So that was really cool. I checked out the Shibuya crossing. There's a lot of people going all directions. It's kind of like chaos, but it ends up working every single time. It was pretty crazy. I found out that for going out, you can only stay out till 12 a.m. or 12:30 maximum, and then taking a cab anywhere, it's really expensive. I did that once and I split it with a friend, but it's about like $70 if you want to get to anywhere. Splitting in half, it's okay, but it's still a lot, and you'd have to otherwise wait till 4:30 a.m., sometimes 5 a.m. for the next first train to get to where you need to be. So people just kind of stay out if they go out, and they stay out till 4:30 a.m., which is crazy. There's no bus system at all, it's just trains, and that's the only option. Not ideal either way. The convenience stores are indeed great there. You can get pretty tasty like sushi or like kimbap type of food. They sell beers, they sell tons of drinks, a lot of snacks. And the 7-Elevens there have ATMs that you can use to withdraw from your credit card back home. So it really works well. Especially, it was a nice thing to have the yen weaker as well. So I could withdraw like a good amount at a fair rate, and they just exchange it. You just grab the cash. So that was one worry that everybody has that I had, and it wasn't a problem. You just kind of do it very easily. I needed to access my bag a lot when I needed to recharge my card to use for the subway system, and accessing it, putting the coins in that I need to insert to recharge it, or paying for things like I mentioned before, that was very key. You do always have to look for the English option for a restaurant POS or the recharge system at the subway, and there's just a lot of Japanese everywhere, so it's kind of hard to find English ways to understand like what you're looking at, what you need to do. So that was kind of a struggle, especially because people there don't really speak English. I'd say about 20-30% of the time they do speak English, and if they do, they're not great. If you're decent in Japanese or fluent, it's amazing there. But there were things that I kind of missed out on. For example, at Disneyland, when they had narration on a story about some ride, I didn't understand what they were saying. And the rides usually are not super intense, and if they're the intense type, the lineups were super long. You had to wait at least an hour, maybe two. On average, I think it was around 2 for the pool rides. But the ones we went on are the slow-paced ones that are spoken in Japanese, and I didn't understand what was going on. So that was kind of a bummer, but it's okay. And thank God that at the very beginning, as soon as I got out of the airport, I purchased a 30-day unlimited data SIM for my phone. What sucked is that the SIM card that I purchased from the vending machine, it didn't come with the pin to open up my iPhone to, put the SIM card inside. So I needed to makeshift pin, and I can't even remember how I did it, but I really would have benefited from that pin to just get that SIM card in. And that unlimited data was how I made it through the entire trip, researching as I went, because I didn't do any research before. I literally booked the flight 2 or 3 weeks before I actually went, not knowing a single thing, and I figured out everything on the fly. So without having data, I don't know what I would have done. Researching reviews at restaurants, which were all on Google, translating things on Google Translate, that was a big one. Taking photos of Japanese menus and then seeing it in English, and also communicating with a lot of people by speaking into the app in English and then showing them in Japanese what I mean for them to read. Seeing what subway stations to go to and what directions they are, what train cars that I should take to get to where and when to transfer and how. Yeah, without my phone, I don't think I'd be here right now. But yeah, met some really cool people, met some locals, and they welcomed me very hospitably. Usually everywhere accepts credit, especially the chains and stuff, but the lesser known restaurants and stuff, they only accept cash. It was always nice to have like $200, maybe $300 worth of cash. That's what people recommended on Reddit, and that really was good advice as well, just in case. But yeah, it's highly recommended to have a friend who's been to Japan, and I'm sure you can find someone who's already been through navigating through all the different things in the culture and their norms, such as staying on the left side of the escalator and walking on the left side as well, or driving. It's reversed in terms of what I'm used to in Canada. Right side is where you go, but left side is where you actually end up going, and the people coming will be on the right side. As well, on the escalator, you want to stay on the left side if you want to just stand there and take things slow going to where you need to. And people who are trying to get to where they need to faster, they go on the right side. It's also good to know that you need to book things in advance. People like to book things much deep into the future. So if you're going to an event, for example, you should look online to see if it's available. If I went to some events like the Team Lab event without booking, I don't think I would have gotten in. So having access to internet at the place that you're staying, as well as on your phone, to do some research to make sure that event is available, because there are so many people in the city that you really never know if you can actually get to where you want, and it could easily be booked up when you arrive. You don't have to book everything, but it's good to check first if that is bookable and if you can. There's also smoking allowed at cafes, which is different, and there's only certain areas that you can smoke in the city, and you're not allowed to, but people who smoke at the designated areas, they leave their trash sometimes there because there's no trash bins anywhere. So that's kind of a minor problem. It's not a big issue, but it's something that people do that I've noticed. Also, when you're at restaurants, when you're getting something, you need to show the server or the cook the ticket number that the machine that you ordered on printed out for you. That way they know and match you up to what dish you ordered. So without this ticket that you get from the machine, you won't really get the meal. And yeah, like at izakayas and ramen shops, I noticed that the cooks have a very loud, enthusiastic voice. Sometimes it was piercing, and I thought it was really cool though, and I admired how hard they work at their craft. They work extremely hard. They take pride in their cooking, and I like how well they greet customers. Felt like kind of like family when you entered their premises, and I know it's similar for any izakayas and Japanese restaurants here, but I liked that culture kind of lives on. Another thing that I noticed that was different was when you're paying in cash, or I believe by card, they have trays that you put the coins or cash or card on, and then you slide the tray to them for them to process the payment, and then they return the tray back to you with the respective change or the card that you use to pay for the ticket or restaurant, to pay for the ticket or the meal at the restaurant. And I believe that's kind of a respectful way that they consider to make payment for certain services. I noticed that there are a lot of vending machines everywhere you go. There's of course a lot of convenience stores, multiple on every block and in between each block too, but vending machines, they have ice cream as well as drinks, and they also have hot drinks like hot coffee and hot latte. And these vending machines are up at shrines, up in hills at the very top, and just all throughout the city. When you're walking, you could walk maybe 30 seconds and then see around 4 different vending machines, maybe a bit less, but you see them on the left side, on the right side, everywhere you go. So whenever you need any sort of drink, or if it's hot, you want an ice cream, it's a good chance that you can get it right on the spot. And they accept coins and cash or bills, and they have a good system for paying for a card, of course, and it was just super convenient. One thing that was convenient for me was their electric plugs are the same as Canada. I ended up buying a electric converter before, like a hub, but turns out I didn't need it because it's the same exact voltage as the Canadian one. So I didn't have to worry about any of that, and I would charge as I go. I charged as I went whenever I needed it, but I just charged at home the portable charger when I needed that, and then went out to do my traveling. So yeah, hopefully that was insightful. Hopefully you learned some things about Japan, and hopefully you bring some comfortable shoes because you're gonna be doing a lot of walking. Breathable shoes is ideal, that has high quality insole and midsole. What I use is like the Nike React, something like Adidas Ultra Boost. That would be nice for just unlimited walking every day. Have some breathable clothing like Airism from Uniqlo. They have tons of Uniqlos there, and it's actually cheaper than a lot of the Canadian ones, in part due to the exchange rate right now, but in general, for example, the underwear that I ended up getting, it's about 3 times less cheap in Japan, and it's, I think, better as well in terms of fitting and the material as well. So, but yeah, I'm kind of rambling. I'll try to make another video on other things that I found, on other things that I've learned about Japan and Tokyo, but I wanted to cover the bulk of it in this video. Hopefully I can think of other things in a part 2 or part 3. But any questions, anything that you're curious about, if you're thinking about traveling to Japan, let us know down in the comments. And if you're interested in trying out our BandStrap, we have a bigger, steeper discount right now with BandStrap 20 for 20% off your order. This is in Canadian dollars, but if you order more than $35, it's free shipping in Canada and the US. And we have discounted shipping for international orders beyond that as well. So this sale is not going to be happening for a long time. It's only until April 15th. So if you're interested, cop a BandStrap, try it out. We have the 2 mini bands. Just choose which colors you want to get. There's black, red, blue, and green. So if you want 2 blacks or 2 reds or a combination, let us know in the order as well. And if you wanted another crossbody bag that you can fit everything essential in it during your travels, then feel free to cop that as well. And we also recommend getting the carabiner with the band strap so that you can actually hook your keys on it, or even top of the water bottle on it when you're walking around, as well as little bags that you want to clip on on to the carabiner on the main band as well. So thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please like it. And if you love the video, and if you're looking forward to any travel tips and other fun facts about my travel in Japan and Tokyo, please subscribe and take advantage of our sale going on. And we will see you in the next one. This is Paul from BandStrap. Bye.